Alright guys, there are 3 stocks I want to look at for Monday. Depending on how the market acts, I think these are all interesting stocks. First one is Pilgrim's Pride Corporation. You can look up the fundamentals on this one, but recent acquisition, they're in the food industry. Chickens is their business. I like the chart pattern. I like that it had a nice 1-year uptrend. The interesting thing about it now is it's building a lot of energy in this consolidation that it's doing on this channel. So here's the descending channel that we look at. It's kind of made some shape over a longer period of time. And then here's the shorter downtrend channel. Now we wedged here and we pivoted and we broke through that and we started some sideways consolidation, and then we held this lower trend line. And here's your top channel, parallel channel on that trend line. We're attacking the 50-day moving average above the 20. Plenty of wiggle room on the RSI here. I think there's enough energy to push to the 50, but we did get rejection on Friday. This is one to keep an eye on. Looks really interesting. I like these long patterns here because they tend to develop a lot of energy. So if you can, we're tightening up here in this little area. We got rejection on the 20, but we held the lower trend line and pushed back up through there. So we got this little ping pong back and forth. I like the volume on this candle here, and then the weak pullback here. Weak is good. I mean, there wasn't a huge amount of volume on the pullback, although it was a very light trading day on Friday across the board. But nice channel for power. Push up against that 30 or 50. This one should be an interesting one to watch. Fundamentally, the company's pretty sound. Long-term debt to equity ratio, debt to capital 47.3%, not horrible. Accumulation distribution starting to move up. Volume ratios are pretty good. This one looks interesting for Monday. I like the field that they're into, food, and I like that it had a nice uptrend prior to this recent pullback. And then let's look at 2 more here. So here's a nice uptrend channel before this big pullback, and then now we're starting to go a little sideways, which I like, and then we could power back up. I know target will be around 24 and change. Next one is EVR. This one's high risk, high reward. EVRI, I'm sorry. And this is in the casino industry. The chart looks very similar to probably MGM. Actually was starting to break out on the longer term trajectory. I guess you'd say this was kind of the pattern. It wasn't breaking out. It was coming darn close to it on this top line channel here. Regardless, big pullback, big bounce. If you look back over the history of this stock, the low here was actually the exact, almost to the penny, breakout point above the 20-day moving average that started this whole cycle. I don't know if I need to show it, but I can show you really quick if you guys are interested. Just take my word for it, but I'll show you anyway. So here's the break. If we zoom in here above the 20, it started this long channel move to the upside. You can see it right here. So right around $1.50 or so, we broke to the upside, and that's the exact same recent low that we had on the huge sell-off in the market. So good to see that at least. It's definitely a bottom put in here unless this company goes bankrupt, which they just secured some new financing. They're in a pretty good position to weather the storm here. Like I said, high risk, high reward. It's got a nice cup and handle formation. And let's see what else we liked about this one. This one has, what do we got on here? Yeah, very narrow range along the 20 here. This one's got some power to generate here, and we could possibly pop to the upside. We're going to need some volume though. So if we look at a big volume bar, we'll say this one is 4.5 million. What are there, 6.5 hours in the trading day, if I'm correct, right? 9:30 to 10:30, 11:30 to 12:30. You can do the math. I mean, this probably needs to trade at 800,000 shares per hour. You can break that down to a minute. It would be what, 125,000 shares a minute? Is that right? I don't know, you can do the math, or maybe it's 12,500. Anyway, do the math. Figure this is going to need probably a 5+ million share day to go up and start banging up on that 50 up there. But we want to see a big volume move. Like I said, do the math. I was just doing that in my head to break out of this consolidation. Obviously, the high candle here is, what is the high candle here? Why am I not showing this? 484. 484, I believe, is the high candle. We want to get above that 490 area. Actually, it's 476. Sorry about that. 4.76 is the high candle we need to break out of. I mean, we need to break out of it and break away from it. I'd like to see this break above, let's say, 470, 480, and then start to bang up against this reversal candle here before this pullback. I mean, that's a pretty significant reversal candle on decent volume too. So we want to equal that volume, get above 5 million shares, and we want to break above 4.76. Then I think we'll be able to easily get through that, and we can make a run into 50, which would be, depending on the time frame, 580, 590. And that would be a nice 25% move from where we're at, 20% move. So this is another one to keep an eye on. It's probably, I don't know, I give it a 6.5 out of 1 to 10 on preference. And then our final one is USFD. I think this is my favorite chart out of all of these, and I'll show you why. So nice